Oh, hey there. I'm just building a temporary corral for my cows. Buenos dias and welcome to my hacienda. Well, actually, it's not my hacienda, but I work here as a vaquero. Vaquero is a Spanish term for someone who works around the cattle. And in your time, you might call me a cowboy. Hacienda is the Spanish word for cattle ranch. Did you know that there were many cattle ranches here in the Appalachia province? You might have heard talk in the village of St. Louis about the ranches in here, but I will tell you the whole story. Cattle are very important to us. It's probably one of the main reasons why the Spaniards settled in Appalachia province. You see, the land in here is very good for farming and raising livestock. We won't go hungry living here. And if we're lucky, we can make a living through trading what we grow around here. Cattle ranching is one way the Spaniards can become wealthy. Spaniards introduced cattle to Florida, but it took a time to establish large herds. We had to build relationships with Appalachia leaders because we need their cooperation to provide us with people to help us work the ranches. There's simply not enough Spaniards here to do all this work, so we mostly rely on Appalachian men to work on the ranches. It hasn't been a perfect relationship, but I won't go in detail. But let's get back to our own hacienda work around here. All the cattle here originally came from Spain. Some even came in ships over the ocean with Ponce de Leon in 1521. In the year of 1700s, there were about 9 cattle ranches around St. Louis. Spaniards started raising cattle here in Appalachia sometime before the 1670s. Cattle were owned and tended to by many different people at Mission St. Louis: soldiers, friars, settlers, and even Appalachia. Who uses our ranch products, you might ask? Well, lots of people. Our cattle, chickens, and pigs are used to feed local villages, including the garrison here at Mission St. Louis. However, what we have left over is exported or delivered in trade to Havana, Cuba. So Havana is a very important center for Spanish shipping and trade. Havana remains the primary export market for our ranch products. It is a good arrangement for us because prices are better and the trade goods we receive in exchange are more exotic. So, what kind of cattle-related products do we ship to Havana? We send things such as cow hides like this one in here, salted beef, and tallow. They are placed in barrels and loaded on ships at our port at San Marcos de Appalachia, which is about a 2-day journey from St. Louis. Hides are very important materials since they can be used to make leather goods like belts and shoes. Tallow is simply beef fat that has been boiled down and rendered into a solid. Tallow is useful for making soap, candles, and can be used to preserve leather. In 1681, about 5,000 pounds of tallow was shipped to Havana. So, you can see it's a very important product for many people. You see this? This is a cow horn. And you can use it in many different ways. Like, for example, you can use this as a cup. And also you can build stuff out of this. Like, for example, a spoon. Even though cattle ranch is a good thing to have, it has its ups and downs. And sometimes there are problems that have to be overcome. For example, there are no fences to keep cattle in one place. This means that they roam and graze freely around here. This can be a bad thing. Sometimes the Spanish cattle, they like to graze in Appalachia fields and gardens. That's not good because the Appalachia depend on their crops to feed their families. This problem has been going on for some time now. Some Appalachia have posted guards in certain fields to shoo away any cattle that comes near. A few years ago, a special inspector from St. Augustine ordered several Spanish ranch owners to move their haciendas further away from the Appalachia, so it won't be a problem for them. If they're further away, they can't get into the Appalachian crops. We are hoping it helps, but there is one Spanish cattle owner, I won't name names, who felt like they didn't have to move anything. We'll see how that works out. If you had a herd of cows, do you think it will be easy to move them to a new place? How do you think you will do that? How much would it cost in terms of time and money? What if you had to cross a wide, fast-moving river to move them? How will you get your cattle safely across? These are problems we had to consider when making a move like this. The ranch owner I worked for, he had to build a large flat boat to carry his herds across the deep river west of here. It was a lot of work, and moving cattle is a problem for people, but the cattle themselves, they don't really care where they live. What matters to them is getting a lot of food to eat. In order for cattle to fatten up, they have to eat a lot of grass. Some places have more grass than others. Cattle usually graze in open grasslands during the spring and summer because there's a lot of good grass there. In wintertime, they move into the woodlands to feed on the weeds and the grass that are protected from the frost. Cattle had to be rounded up or collected in order to get them ready for the market. Ranchers had to wait until their herds are back out in the open plains before any roundup can begin. Try gathering cattle together in a dense forest. It's not easy. Once the roundup begins, we need to find the ones that belong to us and not another rancher. Remember, there are no fences. We use marks or brands to signify ownership. If you own a herd, what do you think your mark will look like? Cattle ranching is a business. My boss is in this business to make enough money for his family to live on, and that's not always easy. Like any other business, the amount of money we make can change over time. The amount of money that sometimes like a cow or a hide is worth is determined by different things. For example, how many people want to buy our ranch products? How much does it cost to transport them to different locations and sell them? When our product arrives at its destination, will it be in good condition or bad condition? Simply put, a tattered looking cowhide isn't going to sell for as much as a really nice one. Or if a barrel of salted beef isn't sealed properly, it can spoil and no one will want to buy it. Not to mention, we are now at war with the English. There are enemy ships sneaking around, and that will likely make it more expensive and difficult for us to ship the products to Havana. A merchant mariner might charge more to ship products because there's an added level of danger now. Do you think it will be very expensive to lose an entire ship and its cargo to the enemy? I will think so. The only thing we can do is hope that our ranch products fetch the best possible price wherever they are sold or traded. Unfortunately, cattle prices have gone down over the past few years. Not too long ago, a steer cost 8 pesos. Today, only 2 pesos. 20 years ago, a hog might fetch 4 pesos. And today, one is worth between 16 and 20 pesos. So, what does all that mean? It means that we will likely make less money with selling some types of animals compared to others. This also means that we have to seek the right mix of livestock so we can still make money. And that mix, cattle, pigs, horses, will depend on what is more valuable at any given time. Changing prices and disruptive world events are just some of the things that can dip into our profits. We also had to pay the King of Spain taxes on our cattle every year or so. The current rate is 10%, which is payable in cattle. The 9 ranches here in Appalachia province, they once paid the tax with 61 heads of cattle. Now, if you do the math, that comes out to more than 600 cattle here in the Appalachia province. At least that's what the tax collector was told. He charges cattle ranch owners based on how many cattle they own. There may be more cattle here, but he doesn't know that. Tell me, how many cattle would you have to give in taxes if you had 1,500 cattle? Exactly, 150 heads of cattle if the rate says at 10%. Well, I think it's time for me to go back to work. Adios. Ugh.